Real talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish
Moorish
Talk.
talk. We're building when the girls are talking. Moorish talking. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking. Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking. Moorish talking. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking. Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. Unfaithful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking. Moorish talking. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking. Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking. Moorish talking. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking. Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking. Moorish talking.
Real Talk, Moorish Talk. In 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
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 Islam. First, I give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. I give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to the forerunner to the prophet, Brother Marcus Garvey. I give honor to all the past leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakely Bey, and to our former Grand Chief, our past Grand Chief, Brother R. Love Ill, to our present Grand Chief, Brother R. Jones Bey, and to his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bey. I give honor to all of the viewers, to the members, to our media team. We thank you so much for all the work that you do for us. I give honor to my sisters on the panel who look so lovely this evening, Islam sisters. I give all honor to all of you and to this show this evening. Tonight's topic is uplifting each other here on Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk. I am Sister Ingrid Ill from Temple 71, Washington, D.C. Peace.
Islam. I rise giving praises to our Father God Allah, honors to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to all that the sister gave honors to. I give honors where honors due. I give honors to each and every one of you. My name is Sister T. Britt Bay, Temple number 71 in Washington, D.C. Peace.
Islam. I first like to rise and give all praises to Allah, honor to our holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to the past and present leadership of the Moorish Science Temple of America, honors to each and every one of you, honors to where honor is due. My name is Sister Tiffany Hopkins Bay from Temple number 11 out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Islam. I rise to give praise to the great God, our Father God Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to everything that the sisters before me gave honors to. And I also give a special honors to all those that are going through their difficult healing journeys, that they continue to be blessed and are uplifted by the divine instruction so that they can continue to carry on their path. I give honor to our special guests that are here with us, which is all of you that happen to be watching in. And thank you, because we really appreciate you and your voice and your thoughts as you are having this conversation with us. My name is Sister A. Rabin Bay from Temple number 21, Brooklyn, New York.
Islam. This first question I'm going to present, it's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just hearing you all's opinions as well as the viewers. You all can kind of think about it. And the question is, why do you think the prophet found significance in establishing the Moorish Science Temple of America for the purpose of uplifting fallen humanity? And what inspired this question for me was I started thinking about what it may have been like in his era. So what I did was I looked at what I see today. I see a lot of broken people. I see a lot of our people, how we mistreat each other, how we use each other, how we lie to each other. We play games with each other. I see people that have a lot of come from broken homes. A lot of us don't know who we are, whose we are, where we're from. I just see a lot of sadness. And I can only imagine that the prophet must have saw the same things. And if he saw what we see today, I just only imagine that this had to sadden his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when he sat and thought, how can I help my people? I sit and I think about it myself. And when I thought about uplifting fallen humanity, and I can only imagine, I guess his thoughts were, how can I uplift fallen humanity? Teaching them to be themselves, teaching them their nationality, and whose they are, that they are made and created. They are created in the image and after the likeness of our Father God Allah. That covers everything. I know for me, I really didn't know who I was. I lived through so many people. And when I came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I was reminded, because I had to know this at one time before, I was reminded as to who I am and that I had a nationality. A lot of those things helped me to straighten my back, hold my head up a little more. And so I'm so grateful for the prophet. Honestly, I am very grateful for him to even have thought about me in this way. I think about how you got people don't even want to give you directions to the next 7-Eleven up the street. But the prophet was just so loving and caring enough that he allowed himself to be used by Allah to give us these instructions so that we could be uplifted as a nation. That's powerful.
Right.
And for us to give it to others. I see so many, man, when I say these last 2 weeks have been so uplifting for me, like Allah had put me in the company of some people, man, and it was just awesome. It was just awesome. So I am very grateful for the prophet for wanting to uplift the nation, for wanting to see us walk with our heads high, knowing who we are and feeling good about that. It's a lot of people out here, they don't feel good about who they are because they've been told you'll never be nothing. Just think of our ancestors back during the slavery days. And they carried that, believing that they was Negroes, black folks, colored, Ethiopian. We're so blessed today to know otherwise. So I just wanted us to, just think about it. I just wanted to hear you all thought about it. Peace.
Well, sis, you said a whole lot, sis. You really did. And one of the things I took from that, from just what you said, was that, can you imagine had the prophet kept all of that for himself? But he had to obey Allah. Praise Allah, he obeyed him. and he was willing to share. Because this is a gift. Our Quran, it truly is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
If you,
We lost you.
or a guide to life. You know, that's what I have to say about that. And that was just off you, what you just shared. Says thank you for that, because it make you think like, what if? My God, peace.
Mm.
Praise Allah. Um, that was a
Mm,
beautiful, beautiful demonstration. Um, and I think that I don't know about anybody else, but I'm like stuck on her explanation because it was so powerful and
hmm
yet it's still so true.
hmm
Um, when you think about the significance of the prophet bringing the Moorish Science Temple of America to us all, and the purpose of it being uplifting, fallen humanity, you had to, when you get into a deep thought, you had to have thought that, as the sister said, our people were struggling back then, and they struggling now.
Yes.
And when you turn around and make it personal,
Mm-hmm.
your ancestors were struggling back then, and now you struggling now to get rid of that Negro problem, to get to try to assist each other in the toils of life. There are no strange happenings. Law governs all events, and praise Allah for the prophet putting all these different chapters in our Quran. And for me personally, now this is literally only Sister T. Hopkins Bay. I personally feel like if it was something like super, super necessary, the prophet wrote it down. He put it
Mm-hmm.
in a book. He let us know this is what you are to study, and you're going to have to keep studying it. The same way he tells us we got to keep studying ourselves, in the same way that we may read this Quran 50, 60, 100 different times to get another understanding, a
Yes.
deeper understanding, a little
Yes.
bit more unfoldment.
Yes.
So I feel like it was such a significance because the prophet loved us and he wanted better for us.
Praise Allah for
So
that.
although it may take many generations until we get it right,
mm,
we keep going higher and higher. Each round is going to keep going higher and higher because we're going to keep striving for purity. We're going to keep, you know, praise Allah for, what we didn't know yesterday, we may know today, and therefore that might make it better for our children tomorrow. So I think that it was an extreme significance because the prophet truly loved and cared for us and wanted us to know who we were and that we were loved.
Mm-hmm.
After going through years and years and decades of being told that we weren't worth anything, we
Mm-hmm.
have to remind you, listen, you are worth something. You
Yes.
are something. And so I think the significance of it was because he loved us so much. And I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that the prophet came definitely into my life, but into all of ours, because it made us more conscious and aware.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Praise Allah. Sis, when you asked that question originally, it made me think, well, what does fallen humanity look like?
mm,
mm,
What does it look like to be fallen? Where the people don't know who they are. When we act in a way that is not true to who we're supposed to be. I mean, when the prophet came back in those days, he said some of the worst conditions that he saw of his people. But we're talking about people that were told that they weren't anybody. They weren't even considered what, three-fourths of a human, three-fifths of a human.
Yeah.
They weren't told that they had names. Families were stripped. Many people didn't want to live. Many
mm-hmm,
people didn't know how to take care. They lost their children. They were abused. And then
mm,
you think about now, about humanity that's fallen, you know, we see it everywhere.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't need nobody to tell you ain't worth nothing, and people still feel like they're not worth anything.
Yeah.
For whatever condition that they came out of or they're
Exactly.
going through.
Exactly.
It could be a personal a relationship with a partner that told you that, and that is the suffering that that person is going through.
Mm.
So being mentally abused, being physically abused, being spiritually abused.
Yes.
Telling you that you're nobody, telling you that you're not, that Allah's not a part of you. I mean, when you think about what it means to be fallen,
Yeah.
you can it's the horribleness that, and some of us, all of us, we probably dealing with it, because when you ask that question, I thought about on our flyer we use on the questionnaire, it's the
Mm-hmm.
prophet lifting up a woman, depiction of a woman with the word humanity on there, and it says the cares of the world is where he's pulling her out. So it made me think about, what are the cares of the world? Is the stress, the things that are stressing people out, it's the anxiety, it's the hate, it's the anger, is all those things. And he's
Yes.
trying to uplift us out of that and teach us that we can have a different choice.
Mm-hmm.
We're creators and we can make our own. So even when we go through whatever the thing is, we still have the opportunity to choose how we want to change the situation.
That's right.
So it's an interesting question, because it makes you reflect on what the fallen what that fallen stage looks like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we see it so much today. I can only imagine how it was when, and like I said, in his era. We see it so much today, and it is disheartening. It's very sad to see that. And like I said, I'm not even exempt from that. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? I'm not exempt by no means, and I'm so grateful to still be in the process of being uplifted.
That's right.
And I would
Yeah.
like to think that I mean, because you got to think about it. Out of all the people in all the world, right? We heard the prophet, and all those who've heard the prophet, I'm quite certain they've taken that and instilled it in the people around them, which in turn helps them to do the same thing, and so on and so forth. So I
Hmm.
like to think that, praise Allah that he did come, because what kind of conditions would we be in had we not had those things
Mm.
Right.
in place?
Hey
Peace.
sis, we listen. The instructions, I mean, how effective could they have been if he didn't start there with
Yeah.
uplifting us first?
Hmm. Hmm.
Teaching us how to begin to even love ourselves enough
That's
to
right.
even go any further with these instructions. I mean, that was the first thing. I think he probably said, look, where do I start? I need to start first by uplifting my people, because hey, I'm not feeling what I'm seeing.
Because
Sis.
he said that these lessons are for all those who love Jesus, but he started with us.
Hmm. Well, because our people were also told about Jesus so much, particularly then. But I love when we're reminded when he says, if you think your condition can be better, you
Yes.
have to be ready. I mean, that's
Yes.
like anything in life. If you about to do anything, you got to be ready. And if you don't think you can do it, you might as well not even try to start. So with that call to say, if you think your condition can be better, that means somebody was sitting in there. We were all sitting there listening to these words and felt this level of hope and said, I think I can. And
Yes.
then the lessons can appear. But without that,
Hmm.
we are pleased that Allah sent his son to do this. He sent his son because he's merciful. He said, go, my people need they need it.
Yeah.
Listen, and you have to believe that when you feel like, oh yeah, my conditions can be better, because I had visited the temple quite a number of times before I heard that. And the reason why I didn't hear it before, honestly, is because I was not listening. I only went because I was invited, right? I grew up in a church. I grew up Baptist. I baptized. We was all baptized basically by the same reverend. So I had this thought, I came one way, that's how I'm going. That silliness. And then when he grabbed me, he grabbed me, right? And I couldn't deny it. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
praise Allah.
Praise
And you
Allah.
know when
That's
you say
right.
that, he continues to grab us because we still
Yes.
make a choice to show up. I mean, yeah, I grew up in the temple, but there's some people that they didn't they decided to go other ways for whatever reasons. So every time we make a decision to stay in
Mhm.
these lessons, we hear the sound and we're making that choice. Because that choice, there's many people we may meet that are familiar, they know, but they're not ready. Maybe it's not their time to be in it and steeped in it. But blessings to those that can, you know. He blesses us, and we know that.
Mhm.
We got experience of what it's like when you hear these lessons and what he
Yes.
saved you from.
Yeah.
Praise Allah. And I was just thinking, wow, I think it was Sister Greer when she was talking. I was thinking about, you know, to think about when the prophet was on the scene back then, and he's, trying to tell tell all our people, if you think your condition can be better, join the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I'm thinking the level of confidence that he must have had, the level of understanding and patience that he had to have had. Because if you think back then, we walking around and we in a sense in the dismal crypts. We're in a sense in such a low vibration. We don't think much of ourselves. And for him to have the courage and confidence to come and, try to wake his people up, it's just it's beyond me, to be honest. And I just think about what a selfless person to just, like, you could have kept that to you. Like, I know who I am. It's not that deep.
Mm-hmm.
But to know that your people were suffering and to have that type of care for people, like, that's major.
Yes, it
That is
is.
major.
Yes, it is.
It also reminds me of how strong his will was attuned to
Hmm.
Allah,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the will, that's the
Yeah.
pattern. I want my will to be attuned like that, where whatever the things are, I can take. But he had that will was attuned with the great God Allah, that deific will.
Hmm.
Because we all know some of them stations they didn't fall. And the prophet, he was divinely done, and then he showed us you can do it too.
Right.
So
Praise Allah.
Mm. Mm. Other than Allah, who is your go-to person for uplifting, and why does that person stand out?
I'll start. I think for me, I think it would be myself first, because I think that you have to be able to pull yourself out of your lower self. Like you gotta be able to, away from me all tempting thoughts, my heart is fixed. You have to be able to have a strong enough mindset to be able to come up out of it. Because if you consistently relying on man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed.
Girl,
So
say no more.
therefore, you may be going to somebody else trying to get them to help uplift you, and they may not be in that mode or in that mood that day. So what you gonna do? Stay there?
There you
Now
go.
both of y'all sitting there looking crazy.
Ah,
So it's like, you definitely gotta, consistently study yourself and know what your triggers are and know what you can take and what you can't take. And praise Allah for, the lessons and instructions of the Moorish Temple of America, because it helped me understand and realize what my triggers are. And it also let me know, it's so deep, because I have this conversation with my husband, praise Allah. Sometimes he be like, you can deal with this or you can deal with that. And I'm like, sometimes I can, but I don't want to. Sometimes I just don't want to.
That's right.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm a person like I like to be able to sit and reflect, and sometimes that's like the best way for me to deal with something. I'm not one of those people like if somebody says something to you real crazy, like I got a quick response, like no, because first of all, it shocked me that you even said something crazy to me. So praise the Lord, I'm not that type of person. But excuse me, I'm always trying to figure out like how can I have handled something better, or how I could say something better, or how I could have looked better. Like I'm always trying to make sure that if I wronged someone or did something, let me try to fix it as best I can. But it's okay to say sometimes some things I can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to keep putting myself in that situation. It's like being at a dart, like you're a dartboard and somebody's throwing darts at you. Like you don't want to keep putting yourself in that situation. You don't want to keep dodging those different things. So let me say my prayers and move on to a different situation. So I would say, back to the question, I would say myself. And I would also say that praise God for having a helpmate in this lifetime. Um, my husband slash helpmeet, he assists me in the toils of life. But praise the Lord, as I said earlier, we all we all got a high and a low. So we all struggling. We all, can be super high, could be real low, and we all gotta be able to pull ourselves out of it. So for me, that would be it. Praise the Lord.
Islam. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one too, Sister Hawkins Bay. Myself first and foremost. I find that a lot of times when I am going through something, I sit with myself first anyway, because no one really knows the inside scoop as to what's actually going on but me. And praise Allah that today I can with courage be honest with myself, and it helps me to reflect as well on other times that I've had my back up against the wall or at a low state, and how Allah brought me out. All I needed to do was be open and willing to move when He said move, you know. But outside of me, I'll say my mom, my mother. You can have people give you some good kind words when you're going through, or I don't know, or sometimes they might just say something uplifting just because, being a good person. And not so much that anything has to be going wrong either to be uplifted. But when it comes to my mom's uplifting, she has a smell about her that's uplifting. There are times she ain't got to say nothing. It's like she knows when words are needed. It's like she knows when words aren't needed. Just her presence, just her listening sometimes, perhaps a hug. But one thing's for certain, right or wrong, she's definitely going to tell me what I need to hear. She is not going to compromise the truth by no means, but she has a way of saying the truth. And when it hurts, it's a good hurt. Because I know she's coming from a good place when she says it. I know she wants the best for me. I know that. And I feel it in her words. So she's definitely always the first person. And to be honest, once I share something with my mother and she stamps and give me what I need, I could care less what anybody else got to tell me. Because it's like once mama says it, that's it.
That's real.
Once my mother, man, it's just nothing like having her support. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I say support, I'm not saying if I done something wrong, she's supporting that. No, I'm saying her support in stirring me back, because she'll remind me, you know what to do. She won't, it's just, I don't know. I can't. I don't want to babble, but my mother, she bombed with that, and she is definitely my first go to person outside of myself. And a lot of times she'll say to me, "You already know the answer. You know what to do."
Mhm.
Once I get to talking to, you know what to do. I trust you. Or she'll say, I trust you gonna get it. So yeah, it's mama, me and mama. Peace.
Peace.
Um, Islam sisters, I'm kind of with you on that, which is that I've learned that sitting still and asking Allah to have that ability to give me insight to information is the first place I have to go, because trying to open up that communication. And I also know, Allah speaks to man through man. And so when I thought about that question, I thought, you know, who are the people? And there are many places, sometimes, I can be private and I'm like trying to figure this out, trying to figure out the answer to it. And I'll pray and I'll ask Allah during that, like whoever I need to put them in front of me. Sometimes of course it's my father, or it would have been my mother, but when she was here, or my husband, I'll ask him for sure. But sometimes I go to Allah to ask him to reveal to me who I need to speak to, particularly when I'm going through something difficult. And I've had moments where I've gone through something or I've thought about it. Actually, I think it was when a few months ago, and Sister Britt Bay called me. I think it was when I was having a moment with my mother. I was thinking about her passing. And it was crazy because I didn't think of her like, oh, I'm going to call her. But I asked a lot. And she just happened to call me and just swoop me up in that moment. And so in my relationship with Allah, I try to ask him because, sometimes people could say the same thing, just a little different in a
Mhm.
different way. It does. And um, I try not to always focus on the messenger, but the message. I
The
learned that
message,
a long
yeah.
time ago. Sometimes I can get real caught up on what this person is or who they are, or what's happening. And you might miss the blessing of what they have to
Mhm.
say. And I've had to learn, that sometimes you just got to listen for the message. Let Allah talk to them. When I go to Friday meetings, sometimes when I'm going in there, I may have a thought on my head and I'm thinking about that thought. And I pray that I get a message from that meeting that will help solve that problem. So that's how I try to phrase it. And then sometimes, again, when Allah tells me, you know, be open to someone else or a different part, or I'm trying to solve something. It could be something, silly with the children and planning. It's like I'm struggling trying to figure out how to make this work, pick up or something with the children, and just take a breath. Take a
Mhm.
breath.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
sometimes it'll just be like, oh, you know what? Such and such just said to call if she have questions. Oh, let me just call my friend over here and see what I mean. So I've been practicing a lot more, and I will say that shift happened when I moved away from family because I didn't have access to the people the same way I did. And I remember my
Mhm.
mother teaching me. She said, you know, you gonna come in here on your own, and you might have to pass on your own, but you got Allah, and Allah comes. He will bring you messages through many, many different ways, and you need to hone that skill. And I am very thankful for that because that has enabled me to figure out, okay, what do I need to do or how? And when I get frustrated, I'm like, you know what? You ain't sitting down and asking. He'll tell you who it is. So that's what I do. Peace.
Peace. Islam, you definitely have to uh, start with self. And sometimes starting with self is just asking Allah to give you the will to get to the phone, to call somebody.
That's right.
You know, my mother was my go-to person too, outside of Allah and myself. And I'm gonna tell you, I forget which one of you said it, Sister Britt Bay, I believe it was you. I wanted to call her about everything, not just when something was wrong. I mean, for everything, when things were going great, when it happened, she was the first one I wanted to, oh, I can't wait to tell mama about this. Or wait till I tell mama about this.
Boy, oh boy.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
And I'm grateful for the prophet teaching me that I can will myself to happiness. Because I was sitting here thinking, how lost was I? And I'm gonna just keep it on me. Was I that I could not figure out that I can will myself back to happiness?
Mm.
Like I know how to pray. I know how to ask Allah before I joined the movement. I know how to ask God for things. I know how to ask God, please remove this thing or this person from my life because I apparently cannot do it for myself. And that right there, when I did that, I was like, okay, that's a start. That took courage right then. To ask him to remove somebody that you really, really love, and you only want them to be removed because it's real raggedy right now. But that takes courage. And
Mhm.
the prophet taught me that. Ask for help,
Mm.
and then will yourself to higher ground. Oh, yeah, man. You got to start with self.
Mhm.
You got to start with self. Yes, but my mother was my go-to person. Let me tell you, she's not here, but I still go to her. I do. I got to. And look, Sister Burbe, when you were talking about the smell of your mother, I was in a store. I can't remember what store it was, and I saw this perfume that she likes, Perielis 360. And it was a set. She loves Perielis. And when I saw it, I said, oh, let me get this for mama. I'm going to send it to her, right? Now I went and walked around the store, grabbed a few more things, and got to the register and realized that, why I got this mama perfume. This is her perfume that she likes. And it broke my heart in the moment. But I said, you know what? I'm going to take it and buy it anyway. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to spray it and I'm going to smell it. Then I can get her scent. Sis, you were right.
Mhm.
So I buy it now for myself. And I can smell like my mama whenever I want to. Praise Allah.
Well, I'm gonna go ask the next question here, which is, how have you experienced being uplifted? How have you personally experienced being uplifted?
I'm gonna share something that happened this week, and I'm gonna start by saying this is one of the ways I've experienced was just by hearing someone else's story. Um, this was touching. It was two different situations, but I'm only going to share one briefly. It's a young man on my job, and he's young, and he talks to me all the time, and he was sharing with me about his transition from a tent to a house. I never knew. Just looking at him, you couldn't have told me that he lived in a tent. He gave me his story, and he was sharing with me that he lives with his female friend and their kids, and he was saying that his female friend, she gets upset when her family comes around. He goes off and isolates. And he said he'd been trying to express to her that, one, he's just not used to a lot of people. Two, he feels uncomfortable because he feels like the family only accept him because of her. They know his story. He thinks low of himself. And I'm sitting here, and my meditation this week was about looking into a person's face and seeing if you could see the character.
Hmm.
And as he's talking, I'm looking at him and I'm also remembering just how kind he is to people, how helpful he is as an operator to the people. And I watched him, ride his bike through all kinds of weather to work. And now he has a car. And now discovering that he lived in a tent for 2 years and now in a house, and he's sharing with me the transition and how it's hard for him. But I'm looking at this brother and my eyes well up because I'm like, this is a beautiful person. And I don't see none of what you feel about yourself. And I had to tell him. I had to point out to him that, what I observed, how one, you are working, you're here every day. I've watched you pedal that bike up Pennsylvania Avenue I'm talking about beating the streets. So now you have a car. You're taking care of a family.
Oh, that was great.
Like, to hear his story, it was just so uplifting to me.
Hmm.
And it just reminded me how we have no idea what our own life does for somebody else. And the prophet talks about how our life is more valuable to others than it is to ourselves. But just hearing him talk, he lifted me up
Mm-hmm.
because he had me thinking, how I might beat myself up about some things, and what I'm beating myself up about, people don't even see that. So that's just one of the ways, and I just wanted to share it with you. And then I'm seeing these homeless people, and then that was for the last 2 weeks. I don't know why, but he's not homeless anymore. But I ran into another sister, and just listening to her story, and I'm not gonna go into it, but this sister, I'm just gonna say quickly, she's been outside, actually in the elements, for 2 years now at the same bus stop, neat, clean. She has a routine, and she smiles every day.
Mm.
Every day this sister is smiling. So stuff like that, when I see their condition, but yet you can hold your head up. I watch this sister, I can tell when she's gone to take care of business.
Mm.
She has breakfast every morning. She gets up and goes into this park to the bathroom and cleans herself up. She changes every day. Her stuff is neatly folded in the morning. When she get up, she folds everything. Man, stuff like that lifts me up. It lifts me up. And I did share with her that the fact that you can wake up and smile with your condition being what it is, girl, I know Allah got you. And I had to tell her that because I believe he got her. I know he got her. I may be wrong for saying I know because I don't know, but I believe he got her. Her heart is the bomb. So stuff like that just, yeah, blows my mind, and it lifts me up whenever I feel a little, down or being hard on myself about some things. I see that, and it changes my whole attitude and mindset. And all I can say is thank you, Allah. Peace.
Can you repeat the question?
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I said, the question was, how have you experienced being uplifted?
Well, let me just start by saying that some days be really, 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 really great, and then some days I be really, 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 really tired. But every Monday that we do the show, and I sit right here and look in this screen and see you four looking like you be looking, that uplifts me. Right? Let me start right there. Um, Knowing that I'm gonna make it to the temple, I'm uplifted with that thought. You know, I'm uplifted with the thought of my grandbaby smile. Um, I'm uplifted when someone has acknowledged another year of sobriety. Um, I could go. The list is big for me. You know, when I open my eyes and birds are singing. There was one time I couldn't stand birds singing because I was so shameful that I had been up all night and woke up in the worst condition. I mean,
Yeah.
and the sun came up and I was
Praise.
in the worst condition than the night before. And these birds are singing like what you singing about. I used to couldn't stand that, but it was shame that had me feeling that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now when I hear them praising Allah, I'm praising them with them.
Yes.
Peace.
Islam, rising again and giving praises to Allah, honor to our prophet. I have to agree with what everyone else said. You know, just the little things. I think for me, they humble me. They also will make me grateful.
Absolutely.
The birds singing and you know, the first of all, the being able to wake up.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't wake up. You know what I mean? I have a routine where I get up in the morning and I have a high schooler and I have a middle schooler, so they get up. I think at like 5:45 in the morning, and praise Allah, they come into my room every morning. And it's a blessing. At first, I was like, you know what? I don't have to get up till 7 o'clock. So I don't know why y'all keep coming in here. But, you know, honors to them because it's like a sense of I got to be around my parents, around my mom and dad in the morning in order to get myself together. So that helps me. That uplifts me because to see them getting up every day and going to handle their business out in the world, it's a certain sense of, you know, you're doing well as a parent, and also a sense of they're getting ready to, you know, do things that you don't have to wake them up to do. It's kind of like they're gaining that responsibility. So that's uplifting. I call my well, yeah, talk to my mom every morning. It's just a certain for me. There's a routine, so it's like you get up and you go do this and you go do that, and you might go to work. And on Fridays, you know that that's your temple day. That's you going to holy day. You know Sundays. You know it's like the for me it's the routine. I love a plan. When I have a plan, I'm good. When things is not planned, like I don't do so well. And so just seeing people trying to do the best they can on a day-to-day basis, trying to be as genuine and sincere as possible on a day-to-day basis. Like I'm not a person that needs like a lot of money to make me happy. No, I just need to be like, we got to be at peace. I like to make sure everybody around me is taken care of. And that to me, I recall finding out like that was my nature. I like to make sure everybody's okay. And that's just who I am. And so that is what uplifts me. Make sure everybody's fed, everybody's comfortable. When people come to my house, they come in your pajamas because we gonna chill. That's what we do. We gonna watch TV. We gonna talk. This is what we do, and it's
Yeah.
comforting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff. Seeing your people happy.
Mm.
You know, we may not have it all in this, of all we think we should have, but knowing that you have love, knowing that you have a sense of peace within. You may have a bunch of bills, but guess what? You woke up this morning, praise Allah, you know, so you gotta be grateful and you gotta be
Yeah.
humble.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely have to be humble because tomorrow's not promised. So
That's
enjoy
right.
each other at this moment.
Mhm.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Thank you, sisters, for sharing your thoughts on it. You know, when I think about being uplifted, I think about what are the things we can feel every day. And when you were going to it, Sister Hopkins, about the routine and things that uplifts you. And lately what's been uplifting me is I love a little bit with the phone. Show me some memories in the past. Remind me of the people that I'm with, or when my babies were a little and they were being silly. The gratefulness of that. And recently, I got a few texts from some of the Moors about seeing people that were not well doing well. I got that this morning. I mean, I'm on the West Coast, so I sometimes my phone, I don't have any alerts on unless you serve, unless you immediate family before like 8:30. So when I get on, there's usually messages on my phone. And I saw that and I was like, oh my, I mean, it was like boom, smiles, excitement around my day. And it's so beautiful to see that. So that is one way that I really do appreciate seeing others do well. When others are doing well, others are figuring out how to make it through the cares of this world, figuring out how to uplift themselves in its trying times, uplifting that uplifts my spirit. When you see other people, when you see your children, I got one, not both make it out in the morning on their own, but when my one, is, she actually just had to do like a little art project on honoring your elders, and she just did one for my mother. She just showed it to me last night. That like made me tear up. It was beautiful, and had these little pearls. She put it in a little frame with the crescent on top and the little box. I was just like, I didn't tell her to do that. She just did that on her own. It was so beautiful, it was so uplifting. And so, sometimes it's that gratitude of just being aware that we are, more, probably say more as you are plain rich. What does that mean? How does your heart fill up? And I echo, knowing that I'm going to be with you sisters and we had these conversations, that uplifts me. And I got a problem and they can help bring me out of that, or give me a different perspective. That's amazing. Allah uses all of your voices to say something for me. So that uplifts me when I get to walk away and think, oh, wow. All right. Yeah, you're right. Let me sit on that one for a minute.
I think I'm sorry, sister.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, that is very true. Because when I wasn't here for the last show, I really like missed you all. And I was like, oh my goodness. When and like, remember when I said for me, when a plan don't go how it's supposed to go, like I'm messed up. I gotta adjust, and I don't like adjusting when my plan is not, But it's a blessing to have this platform to come together with sisters that are as beautiful and intelligent and dedicated and motivated as you are. Allah put us together for a specific reason, and therefore we depend on each other for those reasons, because we are evenly yoked on the show.
The only thing I was gonna say was, I thought about it when Sister Reverend Obey was speaking. When I see people dancing and having a good time, like at our celebrations, and we got a brother H Bunch baby, hand dancing his tail off. Ooh, yeah, he mean with it. But yeah, I love to see people happy and having a good time and a good, wholesome, clean time, right? I got to say it that way because that's the good time I like to see. All that other stuff I can't even deal with. But a good, wholesome, clean time, I love it. Yes.
Praise Allah.
I'm going to add on there too. What really uplifts me is when somebody decide they want to sing. I love music. I like, it just take me, I can close my eyes and be somewhere else. But when you hear someone singing, I'm gonna call Sister Vonniel. Okay, I heard her, and she was singing in Chicago recently, and it's like I knew her voice was in the room. I couldn't see her at first, but I heard her, and it just like it kind of like got me, and I was just like, it was like she just gave me a beam of energy because I got to hear that. And music to me is absolutely uplifting. Sometimes I need to,
Yes, music is.
sometimes I need to. I realized that there was a time where I need to hear live music to
Yes.
feel a certain way. You know, I just recently saw Layla Hathaway. She was in town and she was hitting some runs. And, oh my God, she was hitting some runs and then started doing something out. I was like, oh my goodness, how beautiful. You've been blessed. So it is important, you know, when Allah gives everybody their peace to share with the world. That's why it's important that we're uplifted so we can share our peace. We need that. You know, we need Hopkins Bay to cook for us. You know what I mean? Like we do. We need you to feed me, you know, to put it up and tore it up because that's your expression of love.
Right.
Right. And when you're in your highest love, you uplift the other person through it. So we all have to tap into that. You know, Sister Grill sending up pictures of cake that I can't have. You know, she knows she doing it. And an amazing job. And it's like, you know, that's when you know when people put in that extra love, that's uplifting. That's the part that we need to keep doing over and over and over, bringing our higher selves. That uplifts. You don't know who is going to uplift. Let's just say that.
That's true.
And let me tell you, preparing those things definitely is uplifting for me as well. Yes, I love it. I love it.
I can't wait to come to y'all areas so y'all can uplift me because
I can't wait either.
I know y'all love me, so I know y'all gonna cook for me.
You already know. I got you, sis.
Praise Allah.
I got you. Yeah,
that's right.
Do we have time? Oh, we got 3 minutes. We got time for one quick question.
That's really squeezing.
That's squeezing it. Huh?
It is squeezing. Let me see. I have a quick one. Well, this might not be quick. We might have to come back to it. But have you ever been selective with who or how you encourage someone and why?
Islam. Real quick, I'm gonna say yes. There's a difference. And I'm selective with men versus women. Because sometimes with a man, the wires can get crossed. You have to pay attention. You gotta be careful, speak with discretion, and know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And it could be the same even with the sisters too, because everybody just don't be wanting to be uplifted. And I've had somebody snap on me before, and I just was sharing. They shared something on their Facebook page, and I guess because I felt that because they shared it and they put it out there, I just shared my thought, and the sister snapped back at me and said, "Don't be trying to get nobody to come over to your religion." I just shared my thought, and I didn't say anything about coming to be a Muslim. I ain't say none of that. But what it taught me was, because I really don't be knowing where people coming from sometimes when they express themselves on Facebook, and I've learned in a rough way that sometimes when they're expressing, they don't want no feedback. They want to be able to express themselves, and that be that. So I don't even when people express themselves now, depending on who they are, I just be careful. I pick and choose. I'm just selective, and I just don't do it because she bit my head off, and I said something positive. I wasn't trying to get nobody to do nothing, but that's how she took it. So I read that as everybody don't be wanting to hear. You understand what I'm saying? So you definitely got to use discernment, and also be just make sure that you're being led, I guess, you know, to say things to people, you know. But yeah, peace.
Yeah, that's part. That's real simple. Make sure you're being led before you say things to people. That's real.
Praise the Lord. And you definitely got to be careful with the said on Facebook because you never know who and how they going to take it.
Yeah.
But praise the Lord, you know, good intentions, pure intentions is always the best way to be. But I definitely understand being selective. Praise
Yes.
the Lord.
Yeah. Prophet says speak with discretion.
Yes,
That's right.
When
absolutely.
he tells you that, I'm like, that mean you ain't gotta you ain't gotta talk all the time. So
Mhm.
yeah, sometimes you have to speak with discretion and understand
Mm-hmm. Yes.
where you at.
And
Which,
I'm sorry, Nakamon teaches us that do as thy soul shall dictate, and the end will always be right.
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
Praise the Lord.
Absolutely. That's right.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us this evening for this wonderful conversation.
Yes, absolutely enjoying.
It was wonderful. Um,
Absolutely.
as everyone knows, if you don't know, on Friday nights we have our Holy Day meetings at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can come back on here, Facebook, and also on YouTube and find our Friday Holy Day meetings as well as Sunday school at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then every other week we have our Sakara Sacred Healing. It'll be actually this Wednesday. We have brother and sister Berry Bay talk about another beautiful songstress. You got to hear her sing, that's for sure. And then we also have rumor control that'll be every other Wednesday, so it'll be the following Wednesday. That's brother SNL Bay. And if you're in the DC area, Temple number 71 will be hosting all of the temples for Sunday school. So 78 will be there, 79. And if you're in DC, go check it out. That's Temple number 71 in Washington, DC. And also, I want to give a special thank you also to, as you all saw our intro and our outro, that's sung by Sister Vaughniel and Brother T. Hopkins Bay also created the visual that you see. And we want to thank you both for doing the work to helping us be here and sharing. So with that, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Mrs. Hopkins, go ahead.
I just wanted to say Islam and happy birthday to my daughter Zakaria. She is turning
Happy
10.
birthday.
Praise
Happy
Allah.
Happy birthday.
Yay.
Islam sister, let me just say that Unity Day that Temple 71 is hosting at this month, November 19th.
Praise Allah. It's happening. All right.
All right.
Thank you all for being with us, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.
Girl talk. Real talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish
Moorish
Talk.
talk. We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. Allah want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. Unfaithful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls
Please
are
tune
talking
in
Moorish
to
talking
Real Talk, Moorish Talk in 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.